Welcome to a discussion on external symmetry. My name is Professor N.C. Pant and this lecture has been prepared by Dr. Kamal Lochin Puset of IIT Kharagpur. After studying this module, you shall be able to appreciate symmetry and differentiate between symmetry operations and elements. Also develop an in-depth understanding of transformation matrices and point groups, and will be able to derive point groups, assess the external symmetry element of crystalline matters and assign them to the appropriate crystal system. By self organization, the basic constituents of matter acquire different properties. Electrons, protons and neutrons combine to form different elements. The elements combine to form molecules. The characteristic properties of some substances are due to the long range systematic arrangement of their constituent atoms of elements or molecules. Here long range refers to beyond 100 angstrom or 100 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. Such substances are crystalline. Substances having only short range ordering are known as amorphous. In crystalline substances, the atomic arrangements remain same for at least 100 angstrom in any direction. Non-crystalline or amorphous solids are made up of a mosaic in which the individual parts showing uniform atomic arrangements are shorter, whose wavelength in any direction is only 10 to 100 angstrom. When atoms are ordered, the result is the attainment of periodicity. Patterns of atoms repeat themselves at regular intervals. Under favorable conditions, solids with regular bounding planes or faces may result. These are called as crystals. The periodicity of faces, edges and corners reflect the internal regular arrangement of atoms in the crystal. This periodicity imparts to the crystal what is known as symmetry. In this case, we are referring to the visible external symmetry of a crystalline substance. As can be seen from this picture, there are three positions in which this figure is shown. This crystalline substance is shown at original position, that is 0, at 15 degree rotation and at 25 degree rotation. And the original position of the crystal is not superimposable on these angles. However, if this rotation is at 120 degree, 240 degree or 360 degree, the crystal is reimposable on the original position, which is shown at 0. This immunity to change is an indication of the presence of symmetry. The operations in this case, that is the rotation by either 120 or 240 or 360 degree, after which the object exactly coincides with itself, are known as symmetry operations. No rotation other than these three is a symmetry operation in this case. Note that the same rotation about any arbitrary horizontal axis are not symmetry operations. Rather, rotations of 180 and 360 degree about selected horizontal axis, that is the lines drawn from the vertices parallel to the opposite side of the horizontal triangle, will be symmetry operations. These axes or any such geometrical bodies about which a symmetry operation is performed are known as symmetry elements. Other symmetry operations are reflection, which is performed about a plane known as the mirror plane, and inversion, which is performed about a point known as the center of symmetry. The external symmetry elements, to distinguish or differentiate between crystals, it is important to precisely know how they are different as far as the amount of symmetry they contain. For example, is a cube more symmetric than a tetrahedron or vice versa? To assess external symmetry of an object, we inspect from all directions to check if certain features on it have any periodicity, or in other words, we rotate the object about an axis passing through it and see how many times a particular face, edge or corner repeats itself in a complete rotation. We will now talk about the rotational symmetry and transformed matrices. In a crystal, such repetition of external features is possible only for rotations about a finite number of directions or axes passing through the crystal, which are the symmetry axes. Let us see if all rotations are symmetry operations. Consider the rotation of a point P to another point Q in this figure. The coordinates of P are x 1 and y 1. X 1 is r cos theta and y 1 is r sin theta. The new coordinates for Q will be x 2 and y 2. X 2 will be r cos theta plus phi is equal to r cos theta cos phi minus sin theta sin phi, and y 2 will be r sin theta plus phi, which will be equal to r sin theta cos phi plus cos theta sin phi. Now, rearranging these in a different way and introducing x 1 and y 1, we get x 2 is equal to x 1 cos phi minus y 1 sin phi, and y 2 is equal to x 1 sin phi plus y 1 cos phi. Now, this can be written in a matrix form, and the matrix, after we reduce this matrix and extend it to the third dimension, we see the form of the matrix is like this, where the x 1 and y 1, that is the coordinates of P and Q, are related in this mathematical notation. So, this allows the transformation of point P to point Q about an axis in form of a transformation matrix. The position of the atoms in the crystal can be expressed in terms of 3 integers that give how many units one has to move from a reference atom in 3 directions to reach a particular atom. It is like referencing the intersection points of lines in a graph paper, but in 3 dimensions. Only thing is that the boxes of the graph paper need not always be squares. They can be either rectangles or even parallelograms. If the positions of the atoms are represented by points in space, a regular 3 dimensional arrangement of point is obtained. This is known as lattice. Although the crystals have finite dimensions, the lattice can be imagined to be infinite. The lattice is identical at each point, which is called a node of the lattice. When an atom or a group of atoms known as the motif is placed at each of the nodes, the crystal results. That means, the crystal is equal to lattice plus motif. If the transformation matrix represents a symmetry rotation, when multiplied to a set of 3 integers, the resulting number after multiplication should also be an integer. For example, if the multiplication of x 1, y 1 and z 1 are integers, then x 2, y 2 and z 2 will also be integers. Thus, if the summation of the diagonal elements, that is the trace of the transformation matrix, is an integer, then the transformation matrix represents a symmetry operation. The inspection of this table here shows that only the rotation of 360 degree, 180 degree, 120 degree, 90 degree and 60 degree are the symmetry operations. Because 3 consecutive symmetry rotations can be performed about an axis with repeat angle is equal to 120 degree, such a symmetry element will be called a 3-fold axis. Similarly, only symmetry axes are possible other than the 3-fold axis are the 1-fold, 2-fold, 4-fold and 6-fold axis. Note that 5-fold axis is not a symmetry axis. With the 1-fold axis, only one operation is associated, which is the rotation of 360 degree. However, there are 2 operations associated with the 2-fold axis. They are called as 2 1 and 2 2. 2 1 is rotation of 180 degree and 2 2 is rotation of 180 into 2, that is 360 degree. Rotation of any other multiples of 180 degree will be equivalent to either 2 1 or 2 2. The operation of the threefold axis are similarly 3 1, 3 2 and 3 3. That of the fourfold axis are 4 1, 4 2, 4 3 and 4 4, and that of the sixfold axis are 6 1, 6 2, 6 3, 6 4, 6 5 and 6 6. We now move on to the idea or concept of point groups. Let us see how the symmetry operations can be combined with each other. For simplicity, let us consider a crystal containing only one threefold axis of symmetry. In the table 2, which you see here, the combination of symmetry operations of 3 1, 3 2 and 3 3 are shown. It can be seen that any combination of the symmetry operations produces an operation which is equivalent to one that is already there. This property of a set of objects is known as the closure property. In this case, the set of operations of a threefold axis will always contain the three members, that is 3 1, 3 2 and 3 3, as any combination of them will produce only an operation that is already there. Let us consider combining the three members in different orders. For example, in 3 2 plus 3 3 plus 3 1, if we first combine 3 3 and 3 1, then the result will be 3 2 plus within bracket 3 3 plus 3 1 equal to 3 2 plus 3 1 equal to 3 3. Alternatively, within bracket 3 2 plus 3 3 plus 3 1 is equal to 3 2 plus 3 1 is equal to 3 3, which is the same as earlier. This invariance of the final result to the order in which the individual members are combined is known as the associative property. There is one element 3 3 which, when combined to any other element in the set, produces the net effect which is same as the effect of the element with which it combines. This is 3 1 plus 3 3 is 3 1 and 3, 3 plus 3 2 is 3 2 and 3 3 plus 3 3 is equal to 3 3. This element is known as the identity element, and we have designated this as E. Conversely, each element has a unique counterpart with which, when combined, it produces the identity element. This unique element is known as the inverse element. For example, 3 1 plus 3 2 is equal to 3 3, that is equal to E. So, 3 2 is the inverse of 3 1. Similarly, 3 1 is the inverse of 3 2 and 3 3, and 3 3 is the inverse of 3 3 itself. When a set satisfies all these four properties, it is mathematically defined as a group. Note that the operations associated with each of the symmetry elements define a group. When symmetry elements combine, the collection of all the associated symmetry operations also define a group. Thus, the symmetry of any crystalline matter can be described by a set of symmetry operations which satisfies the properties of a group. All possible combination of symmetry operations are known as symmetry groups. Note that the operations associated with a particular symmetry element leave all points on the element unaffected. When symmetry elements combine, their intersection point remains fixed under the application of any of the symmetry operations or their combinations. That is why the symmetry groups are known as point groups. Different symbols are used to uniquely identify the point groups. These symbols are based on the symmetry elements that belong to a particular point group. A point group consisting of a single twofold axis is assigned a oval symbol 2. Similarly, a point group consisting of a threefold axis and twofold axis will be designated as 3 2 2. This type of designating the point groups is known as the Hermann-Marguin symbolism. In order to use this symbolism, it is necessary to know about the other variants of the rotation axis. We will now discuss the improper symmetry operations. Inversion is an improper symmetry operation and it is designated by a small I. It is a symmetry operation which, when acted on a point, produces an identical point at the opposite end of a line which passes through a reference point known as the center of symmetry and extends an equal distance beyond the reference point. When a finite object is inverted, each point on the object is inverted about the center of symmetry and the object produced not only is turned upside down, but also is flipped from side to side and front to back. Thus, the two symmetrically related objects are not superimposable on each other. If the initial object is your right hand, the inverted object will be an upside down left hand. Such symmetry operations are known as improper symmetry operations or operations of the second kind. When the operations of rotation and inversion are combined, the resulting operation is a roto-inversion and the corresponding symmetry element will be an improper symmetry axis. Because only 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6 fold axes are the possible proper rotation axis, only 5 improper rotation axes are possible, which are designated as bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4 and bar 6. The operation of bar 1 is a rotation of 360 degree immediately followed by inversion. This is exactly same as the simple inversion without any rotation. Operation of the bar 2 axis are first 2 1 bar rotation by 180 degree plus inversion and 2 bar, that is rotation by 180 degree plus inversion plus rotation by 180 degree plus inversion, that is not equal to rotation by 360 degree plus inversion. Notice that the operation of bar 2 produces an object which is similar to the mirror image of the original object and so is designated as small m for mirror. In this case, an upright left hand will be produced from an upright right hand. See that by inversion a point x y z will be transformed to minus x minus y minus z. Thus, the transformation matrix for the inversion will be, as you can see here, that is bar 1 0 0 0 minus 1 0 0 0 minus 1 as minus 1 0 0 0 minus 1 0 0 0 minus 1 x y z equal to minus x minus y minus z. The transformation matrix for bar 2 1 is similarly explained here, as well as the transformation matrix for bar 2, which is cos 180 sin 180 0 minus sin 180 cos 180 0 0 0 1 brackets minus 1 0 0 0 minus 1 0 0 0 minus 1 is equal to minus 1 0 0 0 minus 1 0 0 0 1 brackets minus 1 0 0 0 minus 1 0 0 0 minus 1 is equal to 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 minus 1. Similarly, here you can see a point x y z will be transformed to x y minus z by this transformation matrix. The operation of 2 2 bar will be in a way where x y z is transformed to x y minus z is transformed to x y z, which is same as the original point x y z. Thus, given a point x y z, the operation of the bar 2 axis can produce only another point with coordinates x y minus z. These 2 points are equivalent to each other under the action of bar 2. Thus, we can verify that x y z and minus x minus y z are equivalent to each other under 2. Pictorially, we can see the difference between bar 1 and bar 2 symmetry axis. In bar 2 symmetry axis, there is a symbol which is the filled green blue color dot and encircled by a vacant circle, which represents the mirror plane, that is the reflection of a point symmetry element on the other side. So, bar 2 is equivalent to a mirror plane. The solid dot represents the point which is above the projection plane having a positive z coordinate, and the open circle represents the point which is below the projection plane having a negative z coordinate. Similarly, in this figure bar 3, bar 4 and bar 6 axes are represented. In all these figures, the solid dot represents a positive z value, that is above the plane of what diagram, and the blank open circles represent the negative z values. We now move on to adding the center of symmetry to these two operations. When we add a center of symmetry to the one fold axis, it converts to an inversion axis. Adding a center of symmetry to other axis is equivalent to applying the operation of the inversion axis to the equivalent points obtained from the operation of the other axis. The result of adding center of symmetry to different axes is shown here. See that 3-fold axis plus inversion is equivalent to bar 3 in this figure, as you can see here. You can see that this is above for z, positive z, this is for negative z. So, it is equivalent to bar 3 and it is equivalent to introducing a mirror plane perpendicular to the respective axis. These combinations themselves are point groups and are designated as 2 by m, 4 by m and 6 by m. Note that in bar 2 there are 2 equivalent points, whereas in the case of 2 by m there are 4 equivalent points. It is also worth noting that when a center of symmetry is present, any 3-fold axis will become a bar 3 axis. We now move on to the significant aspect of combining proper symmetry axes. When any two proper axes are combined, a third axis also has to pass through their point of intersection. Therefore, in any combination of axes, always 3 axes are present. Depending on the symmetry of these axes, they can only be combined at specific angles. Any other combination will not be symmetric, as from any given point infinite number of other points will be generated by the successive applications of the operations of these axes. The valid combinations and the corresponding angles between the axes are given in this table. So, we are looking here at the combination of the proper axis and the angles between the 3 axes. As you can see here, the first is 2 2 2, in which the angle between P and Q is 90 degree, P and R is 90 degree and Q and R is 90 degree. So, all 3 axes are at orthogonal relationship. We look at, for example, at 4 2 2, where the angle between P and Q is 90 degree, angle between P and R is 90 degree and angle between Q and R is 45 degree. So, this table reflects all the permissible combinations of symmetry elements, that is the proper axes and the angles between them. These combinations define additional 6 point groups, and by the addition of center of symmetry further 6 point groups are generated, which are 2 by m, 2 by m, 2 by m, it represents one group. Then bar 3 2 by m, 2 by m represents the second, 4 by m, 2 by m, 2 by m third. 6 by m, 2 by m, 2 by m fourth, 4 m bar 3, 2 by m fifth, and 2 by m bar 3 as the sixth point group. The point groups 2 by m, 2 by m, 2 by m and 4 by m, 2 by m, 2 by m and 6 by m, 2 by m, 2 by m are respectively designated by the alternative shorthand symbols as MMM, 4 by m, mm and 6 by m, mm. Consider combining now two two-fold axes with a three-fold axis. As mentioned in the above table, both the two-fold axes make an angle of 90 degree with the three-fold axis and the angle between them is 60 degree. These axes act on each other to produce other axis. It can be seen here in this figure that the two-fold axes are superimposable on each other. So, that the brown line segments here aligns with the green line segment and the green line segments with the brown. Thus, the symbol 322 can be shortened to 32. Similarly, in a combination of 4 2 and another 2 symmetry axis, the result of this combination is shown. Again the colors represent where they can be combined. For example, in this they can be, these cannot be combined. So, these are represented as 4 2 2 and 4 2 2. The same is not true for 4 2 2. So, therefore, we cannot shorten 4 2 2 in the similar fashion as we shortened 3 2 2. Thus, the original two-fold axes which are 45 degree to each other are not superimposable and are distinct, and therefore, 4 2 2 as I said cannot be shortened to 4 2. The point groups 4 3 2 and 2 3 3 can be visualized here in these three dimensional diagram with the above guide cubes. In the case of 2 3 3, the three-fold axes are superimposable on each other. So, 2 3 3 can be designated as just 2 3. We move on now to the combination of improper axes. When combining improper axes, one has to take into account the fact that the action of one improper axis converts left hand to right hand. Therefore, we need exactly another improper axis to convert back the right hand to left hand. Thus, in any combination of axes, exactly two improper axes can be allowed. The addition of the center of symmetry to the three-fold axis makes it bar 3 axis. So, the bar 3 axis cannot be considered separately without the introduction of the center of symmetry. Hence, in any combination of axes, only two even fold axes can be made improper. The 7 point groups in which improper axes exist in valid combinations are 2 mm, 3 mm, bar 4 m2, 4 mm, bar 6 m2, 6 mm and bar 4 3 m. So, these are the 7 point groups in which they coexist. Now, the 32 point groups can be put under 7 crystal systems as follows. The crystal system of crystals, irrespective of their point group symmetries, can be identified from the relative dimensions of their crystallographic axes and the angular relationships between them. The point group 1 and its derivative inversion R I in the triclinic system, the point group 2 and its derivative are placed under the monoclinic system. However, the combination 2 2 2 and its derivatives are placed under the orthorhombic system. The derivatives of 4 and 4 2 2 are in the tetragonal system. The hexagonal system has two subsystems. The derivatives of 3 and 3 2 2 are in the trigonal subsystem or division, while the derivatives of 6 and 6 2 2 are in the hexagonal subsystem or divisions. The 4 3 2 and 2 3 3 along with their derivatives belong to the cubic or isometric system. So, in this table we can see all the 32 point groups listed as per their crystallographic systems. The triclinic system is characterized by 3 unequal crystallographic axes at unequal angles, which are other than either 90 or 60 degrees. The triclinic system is the most general and the least symmetric. In the monoclinic system, 2 axes are at 90 degree and one is inclined to both of them. One of the perpendicular axis is either a two-fold or a bar two-fold axis. In the hexagonal system, there are 3 horizontal two-fold axes perpendicular to whom is a vertical axis, which is either a 6-fold, bar 6-fold, 3-fold or bar 3-fold. When 3-fold or bar 3-fold, they are placed under the trigonal subsystem. In the orthorhombic, tetragonal and cubic systems, there are 3 mutually perpendicular crystallographic axes. In the orthorhombic system, these axes are of unequal lengths, and in the tetragonal system, the 2 horizontal axes are equal, but the vertical axis is either longer or shorter than them. In the cubic system, all the 3 crystallographic axes are equal to each other. That is all for today, and I hope to see you again in another topic. Till then, goodbye.